Hi, I'm Val and welcome to Val's Vlog. Today's vlog is going to be my second vlog in my series for my Oasis of the Sea cruise trip that we're taking in January. Steve and I are going to go on our fourth cruise. It's going to be on the Oasis of the Sea out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And last week I talked about how we planned our cruise and how we pick our cruises and plan our cruises, and I'll put a link to that on the end of this video in case you haven't seen that one yet. But this week I wanted to talk about traveling to the cruise ports and some of the options that are available and some of the ways that we've done it on our cruises and how it's worked out for us. On our first cruise we went out of the port Baltimore, and we went on Celebrity Mercury, and it was 4 of us that went on that cruise. So we drove because we live in Virginia and it's only probably about a 3-hour drive or something up there. So we drove up there and we stayed in a hotel overnight, because it's always good to get to the port a day early. You don't want to take a chance of missing your ship. I mean, you put all the time and planning into going on a cruise, you don't want to miss it. So we always arrive the day early and stay in a hotel. And it's good too, because then if you want to do something in the area you're staying in, especially if you've never been there before, you have the night to do a little sightseeing and have a nice dinner and just kind of relax before your cruise starts, kind of unwind and relax. So in Baltimore on our first cruise, we went up and we stayed in Country Inns and Suites, and they had a deal. And the deal was, if you stayed there before your cruise, you could leave your car there in their parking lot. You didn't have to pay for cruise parking, and you could get a cab and it would take you to the cruise port, drop you off, and then you could get a cab and go back. And it would be no cost for parking your car. So that's the option we chose. It worked out pretty well for us. The only issues we had with that was because there was 4 of us, we had quite a bit of luggage. And the cab that we got was not very big, and we really had to cram our luggage in, and people had to actually sit with some of their luggage on their laps. So we should have probably gotten a bigger cab because it was a little crowded getting down to the port. When we did get off the ship and to go back to the hotel to pick up our car, they had cabs lined out in front of the cruise port, so we told them we wanted a bigger cab, and we did get a bigger cab to go back. And there are plenty of cabs there, so there's nothing to worry about once you get off the ship. In your final destination, you'll be able to get a cab really easy to get back to where it is you need to be. That's a great option if you don't want to pay for cruise port parking. On our second cruise, we went out of Baltimore again, and that was a Carnival cruise. And this time we opted to park our car in the port. Of course, we did stay overnight in a hotel because we wanted to make sure we got there a day ahead of time, and we do like Baltimore. So we stayed in a hotel there, and the next morning we drove to the port. Now the port parking in Baltimore is outside, it's not a garage, so we did have to park our car outside and leave it outside, which is fine because we park our cars outside at home anyway. We don't have garaged cars, so it didn't matter to us. The cars were safe there, and we didn't have any problems with that. Cruise parking, it was convenient. It cost, I think it was about $18 a day. I know cruise parking usually runs between $15 to $20 a day per car that you park. So if you're on a really long cruise, you might want to think about it. Our first cruise was 12 days, so it would have really added up for parking. So I think it was a good option for us to park at the hotel and leave the car there. The second cruise, I think, was maybe 6 days, so it wasn't quite as bad. So the option was okay for us to do it that way. I mean, it's something you think about ahead of time and figure out what you want to do, so you can build that into your cruise budget, so you know how much you want to spend and then kind of budget that. Our third cruise, we went out of Tampa, Florida, and we did drive down there, even though for us living in Virginia, it's quite a little drive, and we broke it up into a couple days because we don't like to, rush our trip and have to, drive 10, 12 hours straight. We like to break it up into 2 days if we have the time. We'll drive halfway and maybe we stay in South Carolina, and Savannah's a beautiful area, so we'll go and do a little touring down in Savannah or something and spend the night there, and then go the rest of the way to Florida. And then we'll again stay another night there because we want to get there the day before the cruise. We never want to try to get there the day of the cruise and feel like we're rushing. So we did do that the third cruise when we went down out of Florida. And the cruise port there, we did park in the garage, and they did have a parking garage at the port, so the port parking there was garaged. We made arrangements ahead of time for that, and we reserved a spot in the garage and prepaid that. So we found out that there is a prepaid option for cruise port parking, and we went ahead and paid it in advance. So all we had to do when we got there is park. It was taken care of. And that's a great way to do it too. We love paying things in advance, so there's really everything's paid for by the time we get there and get ready to cruise. This time we are going to fly down because our time is limited and we don't really have the drive time to go down and back, another 3 or 4 days of travel time. We don't want to use that time up in our vacation time at work, so we this time are going to fly. So we went through Choice Air through Royal Caribbean because that's a ship we're going on, the Oasis of the Sea, Royal Caribbeans, and so we got a really good deal from Choice Air on Delta Airlines to fly down, and the shuttle will take us to our hotel, and then we can stay there overnight. We're going to stay there overnight, and the next day the shuttle will take us to the cruise port, and we can go ahead and get on the cruise port, or on the cruise ship. The great thing about this is breakfast is free also. So they do, this hotel that my travel agent got for us offers free breakfast and the shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then the shuttle from the hotel to the cruise port. So you can find good deals with the hotels too, because they love to work with the cruise ship. It gets the people in their hotels, fills up their hotels, and they offer the benefits of shuttles that go to the ships and to the airports. So it makes it really convenient for you. You don't really have to think about anything. But make sure you book your hotel ahead of time, because you wouldn't want to get there and not be able to have a hotel because the hotels are filled because the cruise ships are coming in and out. So make sure you make your reservations ahead of time and know what the hotel offers, like the shuttles and the free breakfast and everything. And it just makes everything so much convenient and less stress when you know everything's taken care of before you even get there. I'm not sure if there's any more tips I have for you. I think that's about all the tips I have. I hope you enjoyed this. If you can think of any questions about traveling to the ports or port parking or anything that I didn't talk about, leave it in the comments below and I'll try to answer your questions for you. If you have any tips for me, that'd be great too. This is only our 4th cruise and we'll be going on some more. So if you have any tips that you want to share with me, leave those in the comments below too. Check out my first cruise vlog on what I did to plan this cruise trip on the Oasis of the Sea. And we have 10 more weeks. So I'm going to do one cruise video, pre-cruise video, every Tuesday until the day that we leave. So check back with me next Tuesday so you can see my next subject of my cruise. I have lots of stuff to tell you. And I look forward to seeing you then. So give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.